What's up, guys? This is Kephas. So I guess the next thing I could talk about, talking about my WoW story, and I kind of said, everything, how I got into WoW and, all that stuff. But, WoW got me into YouTube. Through World of Warcraft, I discovered YouTube. And I guess a lot of people like to know about that. So we'll just continue the stories. YouTube is really interesting. Now, this is a tough enemy. I don't know if I can fight this or not. Well, let's see how it goes. So the interesting thing about YouTube is it actually, something I never, ever expected that I would ever do. But what happened was, being a part of AIE, which was, a guild that was built around the Instance podcast. Of course, podcasting was a big part of that guild because, oh, dang, I died. That's crazy because that thing was almost dead. That's fine. All right, that's fine. We'll get back to our body. That's no big deal. But obviously podcasting was a big part of AIE for sure. And so, there was the AIE podcast, there was the Instance podcast, there were a lot of other podcasters that were in the guild, and so there were a lot of different, podcasts going on, right? And in AIE, I kind of built up a reputation for being the mod guy. Everybody who had a question about a mod, they'd say, ask Kephas. He probably knows the answer. If someone was looking for a specific mod or a different mod or, something similar to another mod or something like that, they could come to me. Hey, is there a mod that does this, that, or the other? Or what mod do you recommend for your UI? And so I would give people all kinds of answers. And, so I was the mod guy. And unfortunately, oops, I don't have a pet. I'll have to summon my imp. That's fine. So basically, like I said, I became the mod guy, and so I started to, one of my friends in AIE who I raided with, and was one of my closer friends, he's like, you need to do a podcast segment for add-ons, because, in the Instance, when I started watching the Instance, Patrick Beja, who is now a co-host, he was the mod guy. He would do, a Mod of the Week segment every week. And, this is Patrick with your Mod of the Week. And so, that was his thing. And so, eventually he started working for Blizzard, and there was an opening. There was no longer a mod segment. There we go. Ooh, that was a close call. There was no longer a mod segment. So, people were like, someone needs to take over the mods on the show. Because that was a cool part of the show. And so, they were like, you need, Kephas, you should do the mods. You'd be good at it. The mods. I'm like, I can. I'm not going to be a Patrick, whatever. But, so, I submitted. I remember, I had a friend, Zod, who was really good at podcasting. And, he knew, a lot of stuff. He gave me a lot of tips. And so I was like, all right, I want to make a pilot episode. And then I was like, hey, Zod, will you listen to this and tell me if it's any good? And so he was like, yeah, dude, slow down a little bit. I remember you're talking really fast, it's a like your Speed Racer or something. So I remember I slowed down, I redid it, and it was there you go, submit it. And so I did, and it made it to the show. So every week, every week I would come up with a new mod, and I did that for 60 some weeks. So over a year, I did a podcast segment for the Instance, and I also submitted it for a little while. I did some Convert to Raid. I wanted to do something different for Convert to Raid because they actually were because they were part of the guild, and hey, would you want to do a segment for our show? You could do Mod Minute, and I don't want to do the same segment, so I was like, let me try a different segment. So I did a cool, a segment called Raid Challenge, which I thought was a cool idea. They liked it. I mean, they ran it. So, it was really hard to do though. So I only did a few episodes, and then I got I got too busy. I really felt bad because I had to stop because it was a lot. I had a lot going on at the time. But basically, what Raid Challenge is I would come up with a random challenge for an old raid, because back then old raids were still tough. So I was go into Molten Core with only 2 people and try to see if you can beat it within this amount of time, and so I would submit the challenge, and then I'd make a segment, and then I would have a corresponding video. And remember, at this time, I didn't have any plans for a YouTube channel. I just made videos with a couple friends, and like, you know, hey, we're just gonna go through the dungeon. Here's what you got to do, and then like I would get some people would watch it, so like I knew people were interested, and you know, like they'd let me know if they beat my challenge, and I would like announce it, you know, like, hey, so and so beat my challenge or whatever. One of the most successful ones we did was early on. It was like an Iron Man challenge. So like, go into Karazhan, no equipment whatsoever. You have to go in with 5 people, and like Karazhan was pretty easy, but without gear, it was really tough. No equipment whatsoever with 5 friends, and try to get through Karazhan, distribute the equipment that you get in there, you know, and yes, like people had on grays, greens, all kinds of stuff. Like everybody was looking for a weapon first, because you could, like, a lot of people couldn't even use spells because you had to have a weapon. Like, and yeah, so go through Karazhan and do the Iron Man challenge, and do it in this amount of time. See if you can beat my friends and I, you know. And so that's kind of how we did that. And it was fun for a while, but like I said, it, you know, got to be a lot, and I had a lot going on, and so like that kind of stopped doing that. But like, so I started like learning how to make videos and stuff like that, and I made a couple because like people were asking me about my UI with all my add-ons, and like how do I play the game with my vision. And so like I made the first video that's on the channel to this day. Was the first video I made on the channel, because initially my channel was going to be specifically for AIE. That was what it was going to be for. So that's why my channel is technically called Kephas AIE, because because like at this point in time I was an officer of the guild, and I was going to use the channel for AIE purposes, for any type of, you know, videos, announcements, different kinds of things like that. I was going to make those, and it was very cheesy at the time. Still kind of new at it, but I made a you know, just a video showing all my add-ons. And people liked it, and you know, people subscribed and all that kind of stuff. And so like I was like, what else can I do? And so I liked making videos. And then I came up with an idea to do this series called Legally Blind, where I talk about my vision and just going through life with a vision problem, and what that's like. And you know, made these little crappy like you know, what was the program? MS Paint, like sketches in MS Paint, and made videos. And then those, like, people liked those. I was really surprised with I mean, especially at that time, because like I had no subscribers whatsoever, and people liked them. So I kept making those. And then you know, of course, I like playing video games, so I did a couple like early on Let's Plays. I remember I kind of redid the Let's Plays, because I first Let's Play I ever tried to do was Ocarina of Time, and then I did I think after that was like Super Mario 64. And honestly, at the time, especially considering my channel's size, like I was really happy because people actually watched. Like, you have to understand, my thinking with YouTube to this day is like, look, if I don't care how big my channel is, if I get like 30 people that watch a video that watch me play Legend of Zelda, then I picture sitting in a room with a big TV screen, and I have 30 people behind me watching me play Zelda, and that is I'm very thankful for that. I mean, that's really cool. Like 30 people wanted to watch you play Zelda. That's like, I like having one person. Like if my wife sits down and watches me play a game, it makes my day. Like, and she does a lot, you know. So if 30 people want to watch me play a game, and so like at that time, like I had like 30 people, like I'd get 30 views, and I thought it was the biggest deal. Like, holy crap, 30 people are watching me play Zelda. That's crazy. You know, it's no Game Grumps, but I don't even care. Like I'm a nobody, right? So you know, so I did that for a while. But then I kind of started to focus my channel more on WoW, and I made, and of course the Legally Blind series, and I made that video, a video about, by this point we're in Mists of Pandaria, so I made a video about the state of WoW. Like, I was like, you know, I like Mists of Pandaria, but I'm just not, like, WoW after Cataclysm has been going, like, it's just not as fun, right? It's not the same. And so, like, I made a video about that. And I posted, like my cousin posted it on Reddit, and the next thing I know, it had like I don't know, like 5,000 views in a day, which at that time was like, whoa, like this is crazy. Like, I was getting bombarded with emails and notifications over it. Like, people were like all over this video, and eventually that turned into 400,000 plus views. So it really took off, and I was like, wow, that's crazy. You know, so like I was like, well, cool. I did that, and at that point, like, I didn't really know what I was going to do. Like, I just kept doing random things. Like, I'd make some WoW videos. I made other videos that people would check out, different games. I'd play this and that and the other. Still did Legally Blind when I could, that, was whatever. And then I did more like add-on videos. I remember like a couple of those, like one of those was featured on, I forget, WoW Insider, I think. I don't know if that's even still around, but like I had a video that was on there. Just a lot of stuff that I didn't expect. Like, whoa, like that's cool. I'm glad my people like my videos, whatever. And I like making them. Like, I've always liked making videos. Like I used to make like lame wrestling montages that I'd post. I made a couple Dragon Ball Z AMVs back in the day. Like I was that guy because I liked making videos. And then I was like late Miss Pandaria. I discovered a way to make not add-ons, but how to make macros. Because like I used to make, like back in the early days, WoW was really easy to make macros for because you could do like cast random. It's even like classic. You can't make macros the same way you could make macros and the way you could make them back in the day. Like you could do a lot of stuff. And in Wrath, I used I remember BC and Wrath, I had one button macros for a lot of my classes. And then they broke that, and it was really frustrating because like that became a very accessible means for me to be able to play the game, not having to worry about 10 different buttons, because it's very difficult to keep track when you only have one eye that barely works, right? So macros became a big thing for me, and back in Wrath, like I was topping DPS charts using a one button macro. Like it was pretty ridiculous. So I kind of understand why they felt the need to nerf that. But by Mists of Pandaria, there was a new method, and you had to put like a bunch of zeros in front of the spell. Like it was really weird, but like it worked. So like basically like, with a normal macro, I think you had to have an add-on that like, would let you extend the amount of characters you could have in a macro because it's limited. So there was like a macro toolkit or something. I forget what it was called, but basically you could have more characters in the macro, and then you could put like a bunch of zeros in front of the cast line, and then that's how you made your macro. And I don't even remember how it worked. It's been so long now, but I started like I was doing like my let's play with my first let's play in Warcraft, and people were like, how do you do the one button thing? So I showed them the warrior one, and then people wanted me to make macros. So I started making macros for every class. That was back in Mists of Pandaria. And I went through every single class. I think every single class, maybe even every single spec. And I was making macros for everybody. And that's how that started. So did it in Wrath, did it in Mists of Pandaria, did it in Warlords of Draenor, did it in Legion, did it in BFA, still do it to this day. And that's how that took off. And it's only grown. I mean, it's grown. So like it's crazy, And one of the things like for me, a little bit of a conviction was like, if I'm going to make these one button macros for people, I should probably explain how to play the class, because I feel like people have an obligation that if you're going to, you need to learn how to play your class, and macros should not be a shortcut for you to not have to do that, not have to learn how to play the game. So I always learned, because to make the macros you have to understand how the class works, at least have a basic understanding, and so I would check out Elitist Jerks, I would check out Icy Veins, wherever I could find information, I would learn, and I would share, basically a simplified rotation, just like your basic rotation, because like I'm not a high school teacher, I'm a kindergarten teacher, right? I don't have the skills to be an Elitist Jerk high school teacher. I'm not the min-max teacher, I'm a basic guy. That's I teach the kindergartners, the beginners how to play the game. There's a place for that. Obviously, there's a place for those people. And there's a lot of them out there. So that was what I started to do. I started to focus on that, and that's kind of like now, play WoW Classic. It's fun. Have another game on the side that I play, and then do macros. That's kind of like the thing now. And it's great. I mean, it's weird. It's funny how things just kind of work out. I'm still, still a relatively small fish, but I'm very happy with how far things have come, and I'm very grateful as well. So like that's like the thing for people, like I've even been in Skype calls with people that I know, of course, but people ask, how did you get into YouTube, and how do I do that? And it's like, you get that I think every YouTuber has probably been asked that question, and the truth of it is, like, there is no secret method, and even like larger content creator, like they'll tell you, like, there are things that you learn to do to be better at YouTube, or you learn the algorithm. If your goal is to be successful, like that's all like your only goal is to succeed and have as many views as possible or whatever and make tons of money, then there are some things that you can learn about the algorithm, of course. But to get known, to do YouTube and to break out or whatever, a lot of it's just luck. I mean, like, seriously, a lot of it really is. Like, you can be a very good content creator. You can make a lot of good content, and it may never happen because it's just, I mean, there's a good chunk of it that is purely based on luck. And there's not much that you can do about that other than, like, the thing about it is, like, if you want to do YouTube, you have to enjoy it. That's the main thing. Because what it should be about is, it shouldn't be about getting millions of views. It shouldn't be about any of that stuff, because it may never happen. But if you enjoy it, if you enjoy making videos, if you enjoy posting on YouTube, if you enjoy what your content's about, then chances are it won't matter. And if you're not successful, you'll do it because you enjoy it. If all you care about is being successful, then you're probably going to hate it pretty quickly, because it's most likely that it's not going to happen that way, or you're only going to get so far. And, like, for me, I do it because I enjoy it, because it's something that I have fun doing it. And, sometimes videos do really well, sometimes they don't do as well as other videos, and that's fine, because I don't do it for the views alone. The views are nice, and any extra income, is some people say it's my beer money. I don't drink beer, but it's my WoW subscription, or a free, an extra game every month or something. Like, that's what it is for me. It's like, it's something to do on the side, and it's fun, and I enjoy it. So that's why I do it. And if you do that and it works out, then great. If it doesn't, if you don't become famous, or become get a million subscribers and get millions of views or whatever, at least you do something that you like and it was fun, So that's kind of the idea. And that's how you have to look at it. And of course, you can do things like, try to get, do things to try to get views, and get attention. That's fine. I mean, but really, it's all about loving what you do. I mean, that's like that, because like most of the time that's going to be your reward is if you love what you do, because, and not only like in terms of getting views, but also in terms of dealing with the reactions that you're going to get. I mean, you're going to get all kinds of reactions. I mean, these days I get mostly positive reactions, but there's always those days, man. You get people that you're going to get negative reactions, and if you don't have that assurance already, then those reactions they're going to really kill your spirit, so to speak. They're going to tear you down. They're going to make you second guess why you're even doing it, and that's never a good thing. So you have to kind of have that confidence going into it, and also because sometimes people will criticize, but the criticisms are valid, and if you're not confident a little bit in what you're doing, then you're going to take even the slightest criticism to heart, and not. Sometimes that criticism is good. There are times where people will give me suggestions, like, maybe do this instead, and rather than just be like, don't tell me what to do, like, sometimes I'm just like, I'm not going to listen to that. But a lot of times, like, I'll take the criticism seriously, and things will pan out. Like, one of the best suggestions that was ever given to me for the guides was maybe do 2 videos instead of 1 for your, like, because I used to do macro guides and rotation guides all in the same video, and I had some suggestions like, maybe do 2 separate videos here, because that way the videos will be shorter, and also people who only want one of these things can get what they want, and the other people can get the other thing. That was a good advice. That panned out very well for my channel, and also just for the focus on the videos. Like, I like the flow is so much better now. So that was very good advice. And so a lot of times I get really good suggestions. That's why I always say, like, if you have any suggestions, I can't guarantee that I'm going to follow through with your suggestion, but sometimes, man, those suggestions really help. And like, those are ways to engage with the audience somehow, and any simple way that I can, because it's always hard to do, like, I'm such a loner or something, like, I don't even know, but like, I'm such a quiet person, like doing like events, that kind of stuff is not really my bag, like, hosting, I don't like to say fan events or whatever, like, those types of things are just not really what I'm about, I guess. Like, not because like, not because I think I'm better or anything like that. Some people think that, like, they get that impression. It's like, no, I'm just not really like, I'm not around a lot of people a lot. I'm very to myself. That's how I kind of am. And so like, but I do like to engage. It's just that it depends on the type of engagement, I guess, if that makes sense. Like, I'm always like, looking for ways to, engage, comments, that kind of stuff works really well. And like, I get a lot of cool, like, comments, from time to time from people, and like some people, like, your macros are really helpful, or like some of the conversations that we have in these videos, like, people will reply, and it's very cool when they do, because I like to hear different insights, because like in these videos we talk about all kinds of stuff, sometimes it's sometimes it's I wouldn't say controversial, but it's more on that line, like, talk about in terms of the game. Sometimes I'm going to give, I should say, anything that's an opinion, I guess you could say, is controversial, even though it's not really controversial, or it shouldn't be, but any opinion-related thing, people are going to have an opinion on, or might upset some people, but, like, tackle those types of things. I love when people reply in a calm, respectful way, and you can get a different opinion, like, different insight sometimes, or sometimes people will agree with you, but getting a different insight is always good, because you can it might help improve your outlook on certain things. So that's always good as well. So like, that's the type of engagement I like. I especially like hearing from people that say, your guides are very helpful. You're visually impaired or whatever, and it's very inspiring. That kind of stuff is always nice as well. So that's what makes YouTube especially worth doing, is getting those types of things. So yeah, I mean, that's that story. If it wasn't for World of Warcraft, then I wouldn't have YouTube, and if it wasn't for YouTube, I wouldn't be enjoying WoW as much as I do now. That's for sure. I mean, YouTube plays a big part in enhancing my gaming experience. So the two kind of go hand in hand. So yeah, I mean, that's a lot. I mean, there's so much I could continue to talk about there, but I'm just very thankful for all of this, and to be a part of this. And so I hope you guys enjoyed that. I appreciate the questions, and I will always try to answer any questions that I get. So thank you guys so much for watching. We will pick things up, continue skinning, maybe go and see if I can make some money out of this stuff, but I'll see what I can do there. We'll continue leveling up. We're about to hit another level, maybe 32 eventually, sometime between now and the end of next year. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, let me know by clicking that like button, and feel free to share it with your friends so they can enjoy it as well. And if you'd like to see more videos, you can subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon to be notified as soon as new videos are posted. You can also follow me on Facebook, and if you'd like, you can support my work on Patreon. Links to all that stuff can be found in the description below. This is Kephas. Until next time.